Human societies often prioritize endless expansion, measuring success by the speed of accumulation and the reach of their forward momentum. But in both nature and physics, form is defined by its limits. Without a container to focus energy, outward motion leads to dissipation rather than creation. In this Egyptian blue wall relief, the sky is organized into horizontal registers. Each celestial figure is assigned a specific bounded position within the larger cosmic order. These ancient records suggest that long-term stability is maintained through the balance between outward growth and this structured cooling contraction. In the esoteric tradition, the archetype of Saturn represents the boundary. Its rings provide a visible metaphor for the cosmic architect, the force of time and restriction that gives a sphere its shape. When a civilization expands without an internal check, it tends to accumulate bureaucratic weight until the structure can no longer support itself. The orbital cycle of Saturn functions like a metronome, initiating periods where societal systems are subjected to intense structural pressure. This manuscript shows Terra at the center of a red zodiac wheel, with black lines dividing the circle into 12 equal sections. These geometric points allow for the mapping of tension as planets move into specific alignments with the Earth. These geometric stress points act as a diagnostic. They identify where a foundation has become brittle and where it remains sound. The cycle begins at the conjunction. This is the seed phase, where the rules for new institutions are drafted and the foundations for the coming era are set. This star map represents Capricornus, the Earth sign associated with material hierarchies and the physical boundaries of the state. It is the sign that provides the structural blueprint for human organization. At the waxing square, a 90-degree angle forms on the wheel, creating the first major challenge to the new rules. This contraction forces an immediate review of discipline, exposing structural weaknesses. Societies face economic pressure, supply limits, and government friction. This pressure tests the load-bearing capacity of the civilization, showing which pillars are capable of carrying the weight of the next several decades. At the opposition, the cycle reaches a 180-degree polarity. The structures of the civilization are stretched to their maximum limit. This often leads to ideological division and the visible fracturing of old institutional systems that no longer serve a functional purpose. This manuscript page illustrates the intersecting lines used to calculate these oppositions, tracking exactly when celestial bodies reached peak distance. Following peak tension, the cycle moves toward the trine. This 120-degree angle allows energy to flow easily through the system again. In this phase, the institutions that survived the pressure are hardened and refined, becoming the reliable structures for the next phase of development. Stability is the result of this 180-degree test. Only the systems that can withstand the break are carried forward. This macro-level geometry also applies to the individual, echoing the concept that internal structures reflect external ones. The archetype of Saturnian restriction prompts a review of personal boundaries and discipline. It identifies where internal growth has become chaotic and requires a more defined shape. This developmental phase, often referred to as a Saturn return, is a period where an individual's internal architecture is forced to crystallize. These cycles often result in the shedding of habits or relationships that lack the integrity needed for the long term. These periods of contraction provide the necessary focus for human psychology to move from a state of expansion to one of maturity. In this framework, astrology is used as a symbolic map of behavior. It describes the rhythm of the cycle without dictating a fatalistic outcome. The cycle demonstrates that expansion requires an equal period of contraction. To create a lasting form, a system must periodically breathe in and solidify. Periods of institutional pressure are not the end of growth. They provide the underlying structure that allows the next era of reality to take shape.